Hey everyone, in this tutorial we're going to take a look at clothing design and structure. So we're going to be looking at the structure of the clothing, how you can use the appearance editor to modify the various substances and various input values that you can use. If you want to create cool looking outfits like the ones you see on the screen right now, you can just follow along. Let's start off in Character Creator with this base female character, which you can find over here in your base projects. Now I'm going to press Control P before we go into anything here, and I'll just make sure we select something, press Control P, go into our preferences here, and down at the bottom we have the Appearance Editor Performance. Now if you have more than 2 gigabytes of video RAM, you can use this Maximize Video Memory Usage option right here to get faster performance. And if you have more than 8 gigabytes recommended of system memory, you can deselect this load one substance at a time here, and that'll allow you to open up more than one appearance editor at a time. We'll talk more about that later. So let's close down this preferences here, and let's take a look at our character's dress. So I'm going to zoom in on the dress a little bit here. Let's go over here to the Appearance tab and select the dress. I'm going to activate the Appearance Editor. Now we're going to take a look at how you can apply different effects to different areas of this dress. Now the way we do that is by using input maps. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to twirl down this dress sub-item here, and you can see if I just twirl this over a little bit, let's just move this over, you can see we have input maps. If we go to dress, there's a whole bunch of categories and it may look a bit intimidating, but let's kind of analyze them first. We have input maps here, and if I open up input maps, the section here, we have an RGB mask. And this allows us to apply different effects, different fabrics, and different materials to different areas of our cloth base. So I'm just going to close this down right now. If you want to see on the character which part corresponds to which, you can select Enable in the Diagnostics section, and we have black, green, and red. And those colors correspond, if we go to the Fabric section, those colors correspond to the black base fabric, Fabric 1 red, and Fabric 2 green. So let's go back to the input maps and disable that diagnostic mode by deselecting it. And let's go into our black fabric first, the base fabric, which is this one on the top. If I go into this, you can see we have a number of different input maps, and we have an option for material. I can choose cotton, I can choose denim, I can choose leather, but notice that the colors are a little bit off. So let's go back to cotton, and what you want to do is reset these values down here for hue, saturation, and lightness, because it really depends on the item of clothing you have. And this will take it back to the originals. And you can also double click the other text as well to make sure it resets to the original values. And now if we go to cotton, denim, you can go to leather. If you're into wearing wood or metal, we also have those as well. We also have plastic there as well. Let's go back to, let's keep it at leather right now. And you may notice that the resolution is pretty decent, but we can actually do better with the resolution. And the way you can do that is by selecting your dress main item up here, going up to output size and selecting 2048 by 2048. And once that loads up, you'll be able to see we have much stronger detail on the character clothing. However, when you're modifying your character in Character Creator, I would recommend using the real-time default, which is 1024 by 1024. And you can see it still looks pretty good. If you want to export it high resolution, you can do that later. Let's go back to our fabrics here in our base fabric black. So we have the leather material selected. Let's close this one down, and let's open up the fabric one, which is red. So now we can change this one from cotton to leather as well. And you can see the result down there. It turns black. And if we want to reset the diffuse HSL, we can double click that text again and do the same thing. And then we can also go down to the very bottom, and you see we have a section called Seams Normal and Seams Blur. Now all the fabrics have this except for the base fabric. And this is used for creating a very realistic kind of stitching effect between the seams. And so let's just increase that value right there and increase the seams blur. And you can see we get that nice normal effect. If we zoom out, now it looks like we're actually stitching together two separate fabrics as opposed to just colors beside each other. And we can go into Fabric 2 green as well and go to the very bottom and do the same thing. Increase the seams normal and increase the blur. And you can see the effect is quite strong. We get a much nicer effect, and it actually looks much more realistic as far as seams are concerned. Again, more like we actually have seams in the dress. So let's move on from the seams then, and let's take a look at a different dress. I'm going to select this one. We're going to go over to Clothing, and in our full body, I'm going to select this dress C right here. We can just replace it. We can replace it or choose the material only. It doesn't really matter. And we need to activate the Appearance Editor one more time. And let's take a look at this one. Let's go into Dress, into Input Maps, into our Diagnostic mode, And this one, the entire base is just black. So we only have to deal with the one base fabric. Let's go to fabric over here, to our base fabric. And you can see this one has a diffuse map in the diffuse channel and a specular map as well. And the material is set to input. Now we can increase the density and all the other values here as well. We're not going to fool around with that too much. This tutorial is going to be a very general tutorial. We're not going to go into detail on all the different tools there. So we'll just go ahead and just do that. And we have all these other dresses we can take a look at as well. But let's go ahead and delete this dress for now. I'm going to select this dress and delete it. And we're going to look at patterns. Now to look at patterns, I'm going to give her some underwear, and we'll give her some, we'll give her a nice bra right here, bra E, and then we'll go down to give her another, we'll give her underwear bottoms E right there. Let's double click that, and let's take a look at the patterns on this clothing. Now you can edit these patterns using the various substance sliders. So let's select our bra and let's activate the appearance editor. And I'm going to go into the bra again, into input maps, and let's take a look at what we're dealing with here. We have a black section and a red section for the stripes, or for the straps rather. Let's go ahead and disable that for now, and let's go into our fabrics. Let's take a look at our black fabric right here. So now we can go down to the very bottom, and we have a couple of sliders for plaid opacity and pattern opacity. And those correspond to the pattern section right here, plaid and pattern. So let's see which ones we're using right now. By taking these sliders, we can take down pattern 2, you can see nothing there. Pattern 3, no effect. However, if we take down plaid opacity 1, you can see that we're using the plaid section to modify the stripes, the pattern on this bra right here. So if we go into pattern and we go into plaid, you can see we have stripe color 1, which we can change the stripe opacity. We can do that, or we can and we can actually add stripe color 4 by increasing the opacity there and getting a nice cross-hatching plaid pattern. And you can, modify all the colors in the stripes. There's various values that you can modify down here: thickness, offset, iteration. If we want to do that a little, increase that a little bit, we can do that as well. All this various different ways that you can modify your pattern. We're not going to get into that in this tutorial. I just want to show you that potential, and you can modify that on your own time. Say for example, now we wanted to change the strap to match the main part of the bikini here. Then we can go down to fabric, and let's choose the second fabric, which I believe, or the second section, which I believe was red from the RGB mask. And let's go down here. We can see this one, our plaid opacity is 0. But we do have these pattern opacities up to 100%. So we can take that one down, for example, and just increase that plaid opacity. And then we have the same pattern that we created earlier. So now we have a consistent type of bikini, or a consistent pattern on our bikini there anyways. So let's go ahead and take a look at another option. If we choose these underwear bottoms, we can replace the ones that we currently have. These are totally not going to match, but it doesn't really matter. Just want to kind of show you the different types of patterns there are. So underwear bottoms, let's activate the appearance editor there again. And let's take a look into diagnostic mode here. Let's see what we're dealing with. The black section is what we want to deal with here. So again, go into fabrics, base fabrics black, and let's take a look at our patterns. You can see we have pattern opacity 1. Take that down, nothing happens. Pattern opacity 2, we can take that down. Half of the dots disappear, and pattern opacity 3, all the other half disappear. Let's keep pattern opacity 3 up, and let's go into pattern 3, and see what we're dealing with here. You can see we have type set to dot. We can change that from dot to houndstooth, to maple leaf, to any of these other values, and we can increase the density, octave, or the size. There's a size somewhere along here. Scale, width, and height. We can increase the size of those maple leaves. We can rotate them, randomize the size and everything. But we're not going to go into too much detail on that. I just want to show you again the possibility. So let's close this down and let's add in a couple of different items. Let's go to our skirts over here. And we're going to use the Essential Clothing Pack, which does not come included with the free version of Character Creator. You have to purchase this separately from the content store, which I certainly recommend. It's a really awesome pack. Let's go ahead and open this mini skirt right here. We can give her a nice Celtic or Scottish or whatever it is skirt over top there. And if we take this mini skirt, we can activate the appearance editor here as well. And into our input maps right here, diagnostic, we just have that black input map as well. So the black, if we go into our fabrics, black right here, we have pattern 1, which is a single pattern. And you can see if we take that down, this is actually made of a diffuse map. So let's go to pattern 1, and you can see it's a diffuse map with a normal map and a specular map, and the type is set to input. So you can do that as well. Let's just go ahead and add in a different, more maybe conservative type of skirt right there. We'll just double click this skirt C, and that'll replace our Highlander skirt right there. And let's go ahead and add a camisole as well. You can find those in shirts under Essential Clothing Pack, under this camisole right here. Just double click that and add it to our character. Now you'll see something at the bottom of this camisole here. You'll see a little bit of overlap on the meshes. To fix this, all you need to do is go up to Conform with your camisole selected and select Calculate Collision. It may not work the first time, but you can also select it again, and you can see we still have a little bit of jagged edges over there. You can also increase the size as another option to like 0.8 or something like that, and normally that should work for the entire outfit. So that's how you can really quickly modify the shape of the clothing to fit your character, to conform to your character. Let's take a look at the cardigans that we have in the Essential Pack as well by going to Coats and into Essential Clothing. And you can see now if I load up this cardigan B, we'll do the same thing. We'll just conform this to our character again. Calculate collision, calculate collision. You can increase the size slightly. You can also increase the margin or whatever. We'll talk more about that in separate tutorials though. Let's take a look at how many options we have for manipulating this cardigan by loading the Appearance Editor. And you can see with this cardigan, if we go into Input Maps and we go to Diagnostic, you can see we have almost every color of the rainbow here to manipulate in our RGB mask. We're able to manipulate every single fabric section here, even as far down as the buttons themselves. So we have the green and the red on the buttons as well. So we have a lot of different options for that. So for example, if we go out of diagnostic mode, we go into our fabrics and blue, for example, we can just quickly change this from cotton to denim, and we get a nice result there on the shoulders for the section that was defined as blue. And we can switch this out for this cardigan as well. Let's just replace the material only in this case. That way we don't need to conform it again. And we now have this nice blazer, or this nice cardigan right here. And I want to talk about decals. We have a nice little decal on the chest of this character as well. Again, we need to activate the Appearance Editor and take a quick look at this decal. So let's load down the, twirl down the cardigan section again. Let's take a look at decals down here. So we have decal 1, 2, and 3. Let's load up decal 1, and we have all these input maps. Now we also have decals that are integrated into Character Creator. We can go to Type over here. We currently have input. We can change that to like Pocket 1. We can change it to like a nice skull or something like that, skull and crossbones. And if we want to change the position of this, we can do so as well. We can rotate it. We can scale it up and scale up really large if we wanted to be more proud of being a skull member. Maybe she went to the College of Skulls, or who knows. Anyways, we can scale that up and rotate it and modify it in various different ways. That kind of looks cool. Maybe a little bit too big though. Let's just bring it down a little bit. There we go. We'll keep it at the original size. So those decals you can modify separately as well. And last but not least, we have the effects section. In the effects section, you can do some tearing. You can do some effects. If we go into effects, we have like this dust effect. We can add a layer of dust onto the top of our cardigan. There's edge wearing as well. We can increase the edge wearing. You can see the result right there. If we increase the brightness, it's a bit more apparent right there. And we also have under procedural aging, we can age the sweater slightly, something like that, and decrease or increase the brightness. We have procedural dirt. We can increase the dirt splatter or the pattern in all sorts of different ways. Again, we're not going to go into too much detail on these. We also have holes, which I'm going to enable right now. And you can see we have some holes on the character's sweater. We can change the spread of those holes, maybe make them a little bit larger, and change the pattern slightly. Let's try something like this. You can see right now we have a big hole, but we can't actually see our character's arm, which is a big problem. So let's go ahead and select our character's cardigan over here. And the way to fix this is go to Conform and deselect Hide Inner Mesh, because it's basically just hiding everything underneath the cardigan at this point. So we'll deselect that, and now you can see our character's arm again. So that's how you can fix that issue if you ever have it. And that's procedural holes. Again, and there's a whole variety of different types of clothing that come with the Character Creator Essential Pack. I'd really recommend checking it out. It's well worth your time. Let's take a last look at discoloration by loading up a pair of pants under the Essential Clothing. And we have these skinny pants for female right here, skinny pants C. And that will replace our skirt because not many people wear skirts over top of their jeans. We can activate the Appearance Editor. And now let's twirl this down, let's focus on the effect of discoloration. We'll go into discoloration 2. You can see there's a discoloration mask right there. And if we modify the opacity of that, you can see how exactly it's affecting those jeans. So there's all sorts, it's very flexible, very intuitive using these substance material sliders to modify your character's clothing. Really awesome, lots of freedom. And again, we're just touching the surface here, but I'm just going to go ahead and export this because I just wanted to give you a quick summary. Now the way we can export it is we can go up here and add it directly to iClone, or we can go here and select Export iAvatar. Let's select that for now because that gives us the option to change the resolution. So if you want to have a much more detailed character, we can increase the resolution here, or we can just press OK and export it as real-time quality. We'll call her something like a college girl or something like that because it looks like she's wearing a college sweater even though there's a skull on it. And we save that to our desktop, so let's go ahead and down to our desktop here that we have collegegirl.iavatar, and let's load it up into iClone by clicking and dragging it over into iClone. And then we can select our character, apply a nice motion to her. We can go into motions, and we can also switch her hair as well. If we go into actor, let's switch her hair first. Let's go into avatar and accessories. We have the hair in the accessories. We have this hottest hair pack. If I just bring this over a little bit, hottest hairstyles. That's a G6 pack that we have in the content store as well. Let's give her a nice layered bob. And then we can select the original hair from the scene manager here. If we just twirl that over, bring that over a little bit, delete the hair. And now we have a redhead. And if we select the hair, I think it's maybe a little bit too far back. We can press the W hotkey and just bring it up a little bit. There we go. Very sensual looking layered bob. And we can apply a quick motion to her. Content, motion. And I like to use the street dance girl style here. We'll give her a routine. This routine 01. Whoops. We can't apply that to the hair, obviously. Let's select the character first. Routine 01. And there we go. So that's really your basics for, customizing the fabrics on your character. I just wanted to talk about the design and the structure. You can go into all those different categories on your own time. And we will have separate tutorials on those in the future as well. So if you have any questions for now, you can check our forums at forum.reallusion.com, or you can contact me at developer@reallusion.com as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.